Hello there. My name is G. Manhattan, and I am an International Student Advisor with ISSO. In this section, we will be discussing and giving an overview of employment in the United States by covering the topics of on-campus employment, off-campus employment, the Form I-9, and the Social Security number, or SSN. During your time in the United States, there are basically two types of employment for international students: on-campus employment and off-campus employment. The major difference between the types being on-campus employment is hired and paid for by Iowa State University, and off-campus employment is with non-ISU employers requiring prior work authorization from ISSO. The first type of employment for international students that I would like to discuss is on-campus employment. On-campus employment is employment that is hired and paid by Iowa State University. Students are eligible for on-campus employment starting their first semester at Iowa State. During the fall and spring semesters, international students are limited to working no more than 20 hours per week per immigration regulations, but during summer semester and university breaks, immigration regulations allow students to work more than 20 hours per week. Once a student has been offered an on-campus position, they will need to complete an I-9 with ISSO before they can start working. In addition, if a student does not have a Social Security number at the time they completed their I-9, the student will receive a letter and information on how to apply for a Social Security number with the Social Security Administration. The second type of work authorization is off-campus work authorization. The main type of off-campus work authorization is academic training, or AT. Students become eligible for academic training authorization during their program after they have completed one semester at ISU, and all the employment must be directly related to the student's major. The length of the academic training during your program depends on a few factors. It is important for students to remember that they cannot work outside of the Iowa State without proper work authorization. Students become eligible for academic training authorization after their program following their DS-2019 program end date. However, students must be authorized before their DS-2019 program end date. The length of academic training following your program depends on a few factors. Remember, the student's DS-2019 must be updated to reflect any work authorization prior to a student beginning any off-campus position. Academic training must start within 30 days of a student's program completion and must be added to the DS-2019 before the DS-2019 expires. The Form I-9 is the employment document that confirms that an employee in the United States has legal work authorization. For on-campus employment at Iowa State University, students will complete the Form I-9 with ISSO after receiving an on-campus job offer. When completing the Form I-9, the student will be authorized to work on campus at Iowa State University for 1 calendar year into the future, which can be renewed with ISSO. For all off-campus employment, students will need to complete the Form I-9 with every off-campus employer after receiving prior work authorization from ISSO for academic training. A Social Security number, or SSN, is a tax identification number provided by the U.S. government to all individuals wanting to work within the United States. As non-citizens, international students can only apply for an SSN after receiving their first valid offer of employment in the United States. For students that do not have a Social Security number, ISSO will provide information on how to apply following the first valid offer of employment in the United States. Individuals only need to apply for an SSN once.